everyone, so this is part 2 of my US makeup haul. I already filmed and uploaded my Sephora haul, so I will link to that below and if you want to see that in case you haven't seen it. And now I'm going to show you my MAC bits. So I went a bit mental in the MAC store. I was in 2 MAC stores, and I think most Irish people do tend to go mental in MAC stores when they're abroad, especially if you have a discount card, because there's no freestanding stores in Ireland. So all the stock in Ireland belongs to Brown Thomas, and you don't get the proper MAC discount in Ireland. So it's easy to go a little bit mental with your discount card when you go abroad. Anyhow, I had to bring over a few bits at a time because there's so many things to go through, and I'm just going to rush through them and show you what I have. So you might have heard about the new CC powders and creams that have been released. So I'll show you the powders, so the creams first. So I got the Illuminate and the Neutralize colour correcting creams. Why do I keep saying powders? So these are basically, you know, the fortified skin enhancers. These are taken over from them, and they're pretty much the exact same. The only big difference is that the fortified skin enhancers had a SPF of 35 and meant that they were a teeny bit less hydrating on the skin. So they have been brought down to an SPF of 30, and it's a little bit more hydrating on the skin, which I prefer, because I did find the other ones could be a teeny bit dry on anyone who was like maybe a bit dehydrated or dry. So these are fab, and I got the pinky one. So it's just a really, it's kind of, I think it's more described as lilac, but it's like a lilac-y pinky colour. So it's just really, really faint there, and it's a gorgeous light cool colour. So this one will be used to brighten the sallow skin. And then I also got the Neutralize, which is the yellow tone one. So that's obviously there to neutralise redness in skin tone, and that's a basic yellow tone, and that's fab. So that's really good for anyone who suffers from rosacea or anything like that. I do prefer this new formula because a lot of people with rosacea, I find, can tend to be very dry, and this will help counteract that a little bit. So that's fab. Then I also got the corresponding powders to go along with both of them. So these are totally new to MAC, and they are these colour correcting powders. Now I already own a lot of powders like this. I have some from Fardell and Bourjois, Ben Nye. So it's nice that MAC have finally joined into the party and brought out their own powders. So again, this one will be for redness, and I got the same one corresponding with the pinky or lilac. So this is the Illuminate one, and it's that gorgeous, I love the tone, I just love the colour. I think I might still have the top on this, yeah, so I didn't take the sifter off, but it's that beautiful lilac tone. They're so finely milled, and they're so soft, and they feel lovely on the skin. So those are fab new additions to the MAC family, I think. And I will point out, a lot of these were bought for my kit, in case you're wondering why I have so many things, because of course I am a professional makeup artist, so that's one of the reasons why I went so mental. Okay, so another thing I picked up, one for myself and 2 for my kit, but I only have 2 of them here, is the MAC Prep and Prime Lip. You see me using these all the time in videos, so that's that guy there, and of course I've used it down to my lips. This is a holy grail product for me. I love my MAC Prep and Prime Lip. Now I also picked up 2 highlighters, so I picked up a good bit from the Prep and Prime range. And this first one is the highlighting pen. This one is in Bright Forecast. Now it's actually, I asked for the yellow one because I couldn't remember what the Light Boost one was called, but they gave me this one, and I'm so glad they gave me this one. It's more of a peach tone, so it suits my under eye area because I get very blue under the eye, much better than the yellow one would. The yellow one is a bit more for purple. So that's fab, and these are great for highlighting. This one would be great for highlighting darker skin, but this is brilliant for correcting the, you know, the proper colour depending on what you're correcting. And it has a lovely, like, it is quite hydrating as well, because I find some of these ones from some brands, you can find they're not hydrating enough. These ones are great. And I also picked up the newer, I haven't even opened it yet, so let's give it a blast. You could be twisting this for hours before anything comes up, but this is the newer Peach Luster, I think it's called. Yeah, and this is quite a orangey peach colour, so you can see it's quite intense. Now this is brilliant for darker skin tone or Asian skin tones, you know, who have very dark issues underneath the skin or underneath the eyes, and you really need to correct, like hardcore correction. This is great for that. So that's going to be brilliant for the kit. So you can see a lot of these bits wouldn't be, you know, I couldn't use them on myself, but they're brilliant for use on clients and in the kit. Then another thing I picked up was the Vibrancy Eye Primer. Now this isn't the cheapest thing in the world, so I only went with one, but the vicious rumour out there is that these are being discontinued. I love this little guy. It's pretty much the only product in the Prep and Prime range that falls into the dry skin category, and I'm so sorry that this is going to be discontinued because I think it's a fab little eye primer. It's really lovely and hydrating under the skin. I love using it on slightly older clients as well. I do have one left, and I'd say there's very little in it because it's very, very light to feel, or to, you know, in weight. But this one I'm gonna try and treasure because I really think it's a fab product, and like I said, I'm sad they are discontinuing it. Then I picked up one of these guys here. So MAC have their Natural Radiance primer. They've had it for quite a while. The original one, which was a yellow tone, it's a very subtle yellow tone, but it is yellow tone. It was actually designed for darker skin tones. So they brought out this one, which is another kind of light lilac colour. There's no point in really showing you too much because it just looks very, very light. It just looks like a translucent cream. But this one is more designed for light skin tone, and they are brilliant for oil control. Rather, it doesn't mattify the skin, but it will control oil production, which is really good for anyone who wants that without actually having to mattify their skin. And then before I grab the other load of MAC stuff, and the last thing here in front of me is one of the press pigments, and this is in Black Grape, which I absolutely adore. It's just that there. So I've worn these before, but this is I only own one. Yeah, I only own Daygleam, or one, you know, one of those natural light ones. So that is absolutely gorgeous. And I saw Carly from Beauty Sauce using this in a tutorial recently, and it was gorgeous on her. So I was like, I have to have that, and that's that guy. So let me grab the rest of the bits for you now. Okay, so I have the rest of the MAC stuff in front of me now, and I got a couple of bits from the new Lightful collection, newish Lightful collection. I got the Marine Bright formula, the softening lotion. I've tried this before and I love how it makes your skin feel. So basically what this does, it feels like a watery lotion, but what it does, you put it on before your serum and your moisturizer and all that kind of stuff, and it makes your skin more readily able to absorb the other products you're going to put on afterwards, basically. So it'll make them more, I'm not thinking at all today. Basically it'll make the other products you put on top of it work better, yeah. To put it in layman's terms, which I obviously need to do for myself today. So that's that guy, and you get a good whack of it. It's 150ml. You only need a little bit at a time, so that really would last you forever. And I love the package, the kind of holographic kind of packaging of it. And then I also picked up the Marine Bright formula, the Essence Serum. So I was using this constantly while I was on holiday, and this is a brightening serum. It's very like the other Prep and Prime serum, whatever that one's called, but that one is going to be discontinued as well. And this one is more hydrating than the other Prep and Prime one, and it is brightening and all that as well though, but this one is definitely a bit better for slightly more dehydrated skin. My hair is a mess, but I really like this, and of course yeah, this is overtaking kind of the other ones, so that's that guy. Then I picked up a few colours for some, like I've tons of empty palettes to fill up. So I picked up another shroom. This actually won't fill up a palette because it's just overtaking the shroom I have in my other palette that's pretty much hit pan and I want to replace. I got Soft Brown because we don't own it, we don't have it here in Ireland, which is it's just like a basic, I mean it's not a million miles away from say Wedge or one of those. It's a bit warmer, it's a lot warmer than Wedge actually, but you know, it's just one of those medium toned browns. And like I said, we don't have it here in Ireland, so anything we don't have in Ireland is always going to be a big novelty, and that's why I picked that up. Another one I picked up was Brown Script because we don't have it in Ireland either. This is a bit like Folly or Swiss Chocolate or one of those, maybe not quite as deep, but I just wanted it because we don't have it. So you can see there, I'm easily taken in by stuff that's not easily available. And then I also picked up Retro Spec. Do you know, I couldn't even remember if I owned it or not, but I really, really love it. I think it's quite an underrated one. And it's quite a lovely beigey gold. And it can look really beautiful, especially in bridal makeups. You can't even see it there in my hand. But this is a really lovely one, and even if it is a second one that I own, I don't mind because I will use it, and I think that's a fab colour. So I picked up two pigments. I picked up vanilla. Now I already have vanilla pigment, but I only have it in a sample pot. So I picked up a full size vanilla pigment, and that's one of my favourite pigments, especially for highlighting. It gives the most beautiful illumination, and it has that gorgeous light subtle gold reflect to it. And then I also of course picked up Naked Pigment because I have it as well, but it's also just in a sample pot. And this is a colour I use a lot in bridal work and in, you know, just like classic beauty makeup. So those two are just kind of go-to colours. Nothing too crazy. A lot of these are just kind of replacements as well. I picked up another Fling eyebrow pencil and another Lingering. So these are, you know, the eyebrow pencils that you twist up, and I'm not going to do that now because you can't twist them back down. But those are ones I go through like no one's business, especially in my kit. Another thing I picked up for the kit is a mineralised concealer in NW25. So I love the mineralised concealer. I use the NW20 on myself, and I think that's a lovely one, especially for anyone who does need a little bit more hydration under the eye as well. It has quite decent colour payoff. There's a lot of pigment in there, and the NW25 would be a very, very, very used colour in Ireland anyhow. Then I picked up another one of these sponges. I'd actually picked this up before the Beauty Blender, but when I saw the Beauty Blender, I had to have it. I had this before, but I actually ruined it when I did my Wicked Witch tutorial over the Halloween. I used my old sponge of this to blend all that out, and it was so unbelievably laden. I mean, I think I must have washed it about 20 times and it was still ugh. So I just threw that out and I said I'd get a new one because it wasn't that expensive at all. I picked up a couple of these guys, and this is the Skin Base primer. I was actually given 4, you know, by mistake, and I didn't notice, but that was fine because I gave one to my boyfriend's sister and one to my boyfriend's mother, but I'm actually missing one and I don't know where that one's gone because I definitely had 4 of them. But that's fine. That's the Skin Base primer, and I use that for my kit. I don't use that one as much myself. I definitely use it for my kit. The Moisture Infusion Serum. I love this guy, and I already have one of these, and that's another thing for some reason. I'm missing a lot of things. I can't find my Moisture Infusion Serum, and I didn't bring it with me on holiday. I just thought it was in my room here, and when I came home I can't find it, which is really bizarre. Now I know my sister stayed here a couple of nights when I was gone, so maybe she moved it, but this is one of my favourite serums. I love this just for a shot of hydration. I love using this underneath my moisturiser in the morning, or you know, at night time or whatever. So that's a fab wee serum. Then I picked up 2 of these guys because you can't get these a lot of time in Ireland because, like I said, we've no Pro store in Ireland. The store in Grafton Street does have some Pro products, but it doesn't have everything. So I picked up 2 of the Pro Conceal and Correct palettes, and I got light and medium. I'm kicking myself I didn't get the dark because I would have gotten a lot of use out of the dark. I will hopefully get it again soon. So this has, so NC15, W10, in W20, no, NC20, I'm getting really confused, NC20 in W20, so these are the C's, these are the W's, and then you have your pale yellow and pale pink. So all your yellow based ones are on this side and the pink ones on that side. So that one will be really good for any very, very pale people, which we have a lot of in Ireland. Then in the medium one, again, you have the yellows on this side and the pinks on that side. So the yellow we've NC30, NC35 and the mid yellow. Then NW25 and NW35, and then your mid peach. This one I'd say I'll get more use out of because, especially in bridal work, most people tend to have a little bit of tan on, and this will be very, very useful for that. But I really wish I had the dark one because you do come across a lot of very heavily tan people in Ireland as well, that you need to get used darker bits for. And then, okay, something else I picked up was the False Lashes Waterproof. This again was for my kit. I love the False Lashes mascara. I think it's a lovely mascara without being too crazy. If you want something that has a nice bit of volume and, you know, has a little bit of drama without being in your face and like ridiculous looking, this is a really nice one. And I like the waterproof one there, particularly for brides. And then I picked up Night Matte Lip Liner. I always have a trouble saying that. This is a lip liner that I have wanted to own forever, and I just never got around to getting it. So I have Current and I have Vino, and this one is similar but it's darker. This is like the dark gothy lip liner that MAC have, and that's this guy here. So I am so happy to have that. That is that has been on my list for a long time. Something that's straight in with the rest of my lip liners because I know I won't be waiting to use that. Another Lingering here, so I'm just going to put that over. So that's another eyebrow pencil. I got a few of them because I use them for my kit. Then Media Lip Stick. This is one very similar to a lot of the other ones I have. I mean, I have a lot of these colours, but I just didn't have this particular one. And this is a matte lipstick. No, it's satin. And it would be kind of similar to Vino or Current or any one of those ones. So just that guy, but I just wanted it, and I think that's a lovely colour. And I picked up Velvet Teddy. I actually wanted taupe because I wanted a nice kind of neutral nude shade for a darker skin tone, but they were out of taupe in the one that I was in, so I got Velvet Teddy instead. So this is just a nice deep kind of coffee brown. Not coffee brown, that's wrong. It would be more of a peachy brown. But this would be lovely for deeper skin tones for a nude lip. So that's that guy. And then the last two bits I didn't even ask for. I got back to the hotel room and they were in there and I was like, oh, that's fine. I didn't want them, but you know, I'll take them. That's grand. So it was the two paint pots, and it was Indian wood, which I absolutely love. The only reason I didn't get it is because the one that I have, the Colour Tattoo by Maybelline, their On and On bronze is, you know, it's not the exact same, but it is quite similar, so that's the only reason I didn't actually pick this up. But now that I have it, I'm delighted. And then Groundwork. I don't think I have Groundwork, but I think it's a, maybe I do have Groundwork. I'm not going to stick my finger in it anyhow until I check. But it's this, oh, impossible to open. Okay, give us a second. There we go. This lovely, just medium brown paint pot. Maybe I do have it. I'll have to have a look. But this is one that I would use a lot. And now that I'm saying that, it must be one that I own. I'm just going to check. Yep, I own it. So this one will definitely be going in the presents pile or in a giveaway pile. We'll have to wait and see. But this is a fab pen, a really fab one, because I just used it a lot, so I should have known I own it. But that's that. So the only thing I have to show you is a brush, because I did mention in the last video that I did get a brush for all 4 hauls, and this is the 163 brush. If I can get it out of its case. Come on. Okay, so it's this guy here. This originally was limited edition, and I believe now it's permanent, but I don't think we have it in Ireland yet. And it's just this, like, to the side it's quite narrow, very, very wide and flat. It's perfect for contouring. So this is, I was mentioning this when I got my Zoeva one, because they're very, very similar. This one's a bit longer, but they've the same idea where they just have that perfect shape to sculpt out underneath your cheekbones, and you really can get the most defined cheeks when you use this. So, you know, you'd use it on the thin side when you're sculpting underneath your cheekbones, and then use it on its wide side if you want to use it on anywhere where you don't want it that obvious or defined, and that's that. So I'm really happy to have this in my little brush family, which is quite a big brush family at this stage. And that's the end of the MAC haul. So these 2 videos, like I said, will be up over the weekend, and I will film my e.l.f. and Target haul on Sunday or Monday once I have another day off in work. And I won't be filming a tutorial until I get my new camera, because I have a new camera ordered. It's basically an upgrade of this guy. And I have the 600D, the EOS 600D, which is the Rebel T3i by Canon, which is a fab camera, but for use in filming, it doesn't auto focus. And what I've noticed a lot in videos recently, and it might only happen for like 2 minutes, but it really annoys me, is, and this is not just recently, it's actually been like this for the last, like, whole time I've owned it, but you might go out of focus for a little while. Even if it's only a little bit out of focus, it's really annoying because you don't notice until the editing stage. Sometimes I'll just leave it in if it's not too bad, but other times I have to refilm, or like sometimes just redo the whole thing if it's like really bad, and it can be really frustrating, especially if you've been filming something a bit longer and you don't always see if something's out of focus in the little viewfinder, because it's smaller, so it's hard to see obviously. So I will be getting the new 700D, EOS 700D, or the Rebel T5i soon, so that won't be an issue anymore, and I will get back to doing tutorials once that is here. So thanks a million for watching, guys. I'll chat to you all early next week. Slán!